At the start of the season, my tomato plants looked tired. The leaves were pale. The stems were thin. Some flowers dropped before fruit could form. I watered carefully. I added fertilizer once. Still, the plants seemed slow. By late summer, that same garden looked completely different. Thick green vines. Heavy clusters of tomatoes hanging low. I needed both hands to harvest. The difference was not small. It was clear. Over 3 growing seasons, one simple change quietly doubled my harvest. It did not require extra fertilizer. It did not require daily work. And if your garden feels slow right now, you are not doing anything wrong. I have seen this pattern many times. Before explaining why this worked, it helps to understand what compost really does for the soil. As we get older, many of us want the garden to feel lighter. Less bending. Less hauling. Less fixing problems. Compost plays a bigger role than many people realize. Not because it makes plants grow fast, but because it makes them grow strong. Healthy soil holds water longer. That means fewer trips with the hose. Healthy soil supports roots more deeply. That means plants stand steady in wind and heat. Compost feeds the life in the soil. Tiny organisms break down material slowly and release nutrients over time. In warm climates, nutrients can wash away or burn out faster. Soil dries quickly. In colder climates, soil warms slowly in spring. Roots move slowly at first. Compost helps in both cases, but in slightly different ways. In heat, it holds moisture. In cold, it improves structure so roots can move once the ground warms. The goal is not speed. The goal is stability. Strong soil reduces effort later. And that becomes more important every year. The first method I tested was the classic backyard compost pile. Many gardeners know this method well. You gather kitchen scraps. You add dry leaves. You layer green and brown materials. Then you wait. The pile slowly heats. Over time, it shrinks. Turning the pile brings air inside. That helps it break down faster. When done well, it creates rich, dark compost. But it takes months, not weeks. Sometimes it looks like nothing is happening. That can feel discouraging. You might look at the pile and think it has failed. Often, it has not. Decomposition can be quiet and slow. Placement matters too. It helps to keep the pile away from the house to reduce pests. A simple cover can prevent heavy rain from soaking it. Safety is gentle here. No need to rush or overwork the pile. Turning once in a while is enough. This method works. It creates good compost. But it does require space and some lifting. For some of us, that becomes harder over time. The second method I tried was store-bought compost in bags. This is simple. You bring it home. You open the bag. You spread it over the soil. Clean. Easy. No waiting. For many people, this feels like the best option. There is no pile to manage. No scraps to balance. It looks finished and ready. But I noticed something over time. Not all bagged compost is the same. Some bags were rich and dark. Others were lighter and sandy. Quality depends on where it was made and what materials were used. In different regions, compost ingredients vary. In very hot climates, compost in bags may dry out quickly if left open. In wet regions, it can clump. There is nothing wrong with using bagged compost. It improves soil. But I found it did not always bring consistent results. And buying many bags each season adds cost. Then I tested a third method. This one required less effort than the pile. And less cost than buying many bags. Instead of turning compost into the soil, I began laying it gently on top of the garden beds. A thin layer at first. Then another layer weeks later. I did not dig it deeply. I did not mix it in. I let it rest on the surface. Over time, earthworms and soil organisms pulled the compost down naturally. Roots began to grow upward and downward through this layer. The soil felt softer. It held moisture longer. I repeated this approach over 3 seasons. Each year, I compared beds treated this way with beds that had compost mixed deeply. The layered beds showed stronger root systems. The plants looked steadier in heat. Fruit production lasted longer into the season. The soil structure changed slowly. It became crumbly and easier to work with. I did less digging. Less turning. The soil life seemed to do the work for me. That quiet layering method consistently produced the largest harvest. What actually doubled the harvest was not the amount of compost. It was the improvement in soil life. When compost stays near the surface, organisms can break it down steadily. Moisture stays balanced. Roots find nutrients gradually. In the layered beds, I noticed thicker stems. Leaves stayed green longer. Fruit ripened over a longer period. The plants did not rush and fade. They stayed productive. Adding too much compost at once can sometimes overwhelm young roots. Heavy feeding can create fast, weak growth. Steady feeding builds strength. In dry, hot regions, a slightly thicker layer helps reduce water loss. In humid climates, a lighter layer prevents excess moisture. A simple mulch on top protects everything from heavy rain. The difference was steady, not dramatic. But it was reliable. There is one common mistake that can slow everything down. It is easy to think that more mixing will speed up results. Many gardeners turn soil again and again, hoping to help compost break down faster. But constant disturbance interrupts soil life. Earthworms prefer stable conditions. Microorganisms build networks that take time. When soil is turned deeply and often, those networks break apart. Even if you have mixed compost deeply in the past, that is okay. Many of us learned that way. Compost still improves soil. But reducing disturbance can allow the soil to organize itself more naturally. Less turning often means better structure. Better structure supports stronger roots. Climate also matters with this lead method. In cold regions, adding compost in late fall allows it to settle slowly over winter. Snow and rain help it integrate gently. By spring, the soil is ready without extra work. In warm regions, smaller layers more often may be helpful. Heat speeds up breakdown. Compost can dry quickly. A light covering of mulch protects it. If you garden in containers, this method still works. A thin layer on top of the pot refreshes the soil without emptying it. Over time, the potting mix becomes richer. No heavy lifting needed. In areas with heavy rain, covering compost with straw or leaves prevents washing away. In very dry places, watering lightly after adding a layer helps it settle. Adjustments are simple. The idea remains the same. Let the soil do the work. Every garden is personal. Some people enjoy managing a compost pile. Others prefer the convenience of bags. Some use worm bins. All of these methods improve soil in some way. I would be interested to know what you are using in your garden right now. A pile. Bags. Worm compost. Or perhaps layering like this. You are welcome to share your experience in the comments. There is no single perfect way. Climate, space, and comfort all matter. Gardening changes over time. What worked 20 years ago may feel heavy now. And that is okay. The goal is not to work harder. The goal is to work wisely. After 3 seasons of careful observation, the lesson felt simple. Soil improves slowly. When we disturb it less, it organizes itself better. Compost works best when it supports life, not when it is forced into place. My harvest doubled not because I did more, but because I interfered less. The soil became softer. The plants became stronger. Watering became easier. If your garden feels slow this year, that does not mean you failed. Soil moves at its own pace. Change often appears quietly. With steady care and gentle layering, the garden gives back more than expected. Do less. Get more. And let the soil handle the rest.